Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London, and this morning I'm looking at a book which comes to us from the Child Poverty Action Group, and it's one which is an important book for many people who are on benefits. This is Universal Credit, What You Need to Know. It's now in its 5th edition because the whole business of Universal Credit is rolling out at the moment still, and this book is a very important book for anybody who has concerns about this particular system which has now been brought in. Whether you like it or hate it, the system's there and we've got to try and understand what it can do for us. Now, Elizabeth was the lead writer this time on this particular review, and our title for the book review is For Advisors on Universal Credit as well as Recipients, this is the definitive guide. So shall we have a look at the book first? Here it is. That's paperback. It's only a small book. There's a little spine there and then a bit on the back. I'm going to the back of the book. It runs to 180 odd pages. There's some blurb about CPAG at the back. Then you've got quite a useful little index by page numbering. The front of the book, again, there's the front page there. Then you've got some blurb, and you've got quite a large number of people. I haven't mentioned the names in the main review, the written review, but the authors are Alison, Gillies, Henri, Krishna, Kirsty, McKechnie, Simon Osborne, Judith, Paterson, Angela Toal and Mark Willis. And there are thanks to a number of other people. So there are a lot of people involved in the production of the book, which is cited at as being published in early 2019. Now, that tells you a little bit about the Child Poverty Action Group there. Then it goes straight into the contents. It's not a big book, but it's a useful book. This book should be available in public libraries. It should also be available at Citizens Advice and various other outlets, and probably some councils will have it. You can see it sets out what is Universal Credit, chapter 1, and then it goes on and develops all of the various points. At the beginning of each chapter there's a little index which says what the book is about, the chapter is about, and then it goes on, and there are some emboldened areas which basically highlight some of the problems with the old system and how the system's working. And you can see that's the way the book runs through. And there are some examples of some of the problems, again, which I think will be a very great help to anybody who's got issues with this particular area. Now, what do we say about the book? We say this: reassuringly easy to use is definitely the right form of words to describe this excellent and very practical guide to what are often considered the mysteries of universal credit, not to mention the more than occasional controversy, which there's a lot in the press. Fortunately, for those who need to claim universal credit, or those who think they might need to in the future, this guide, especially the new edition from the Child Poverty Action Group, goes almost 100% of the way toward removing the mystery. And CPAG, after all, is renowned for producing publications that make the law, particularly in social welfare matters, easy to read and easy to understand. You don't need to be an expert on the social security system, says CPAG, that this book makes the law clear and understandable for everyone, and there are a very substantial number of authors involved in the production, of course, of this work. Taking a first things first approach, the book, fortunately presented in a handy paperback format, which I do think is helpful, explains from the outset exactly what universal credit is. Briefly, universal credit, as gradually introduced throughout Great Britain since October 2013, is, quote, a social security benefit for people of working age. It combines mean-tested support for adults, children and housing cost into one benefit. That's the aim. Now, there have been a lot of problems, and we all know what they are, and we all know that the government has been trying to do something about it, but it hasn't been good enough, and hopefully some changes will take place. In the meantime, you've got this book to try and help you get through some of the difficulties, because over its succinct and eminently lucid 10 chapters, the book, true to its subtitle, deals plainly with what you need to know about the ins and outs of universal credit. What is it about? How does it affect you? Who can get it? How do you claim it? What are the responsibilities, and so forth? And of course the subsequent chapters deal with sanctions and fines, with overpayments and challenging a decision. And the final chapter gets down to the specifics affecting specific groups. That's lone parents, families with 3 or more children, carers, disabled people, young people, older people, and people from abroad. So there's quite a wide range of readers who will be interested in this particular book. And of course each chapter is full of illustrative examples. Those are in the emboldened boxes that they have, and it provides a further information section at the back of the book. Now the appendix, again very detailed, contains a glossary of terms, many of which do require some explanation, because I'm sure, like you, I certainly found some of this incredibly difficult to understand, and it's been made, in my view, far too complicated. It should be simplified. However, that's where we are, so you need the explanations. And of course there's an index at the back of the book to facilitate looking things up. There's also a section on sources of additional advice and training, which I think is well worth looking at. So let me conclude by saying that lawyers, and indeed anyone providing or requiring advice on what is referred to as the biggest change to our social security system in over 60 years, should get this book. CPAG are magnificent. They produced an excellent book here again as part of their portfolio of titles, all of which are incredibly helpful, and it's nothing less, therefore, than an indispensable reference. And the date of the publication is early 2019. It's not done as an annual, but obviously the book is regularly edited for a new edition to keep you up to date with what's happening. Let's just open the book in the middle. This is again examples. This is your responsibilities, searching for work and so forth. And you can see it sets out what you've got to do, and it tries, I think, in a very neutral and balanced way to give you as much advice as possible. Anyway, a very big thank you to CPAG and everybody who's been involved in this book. Very grateful to you all for producing what is a first-class work. Thank you. Bye-bye.